I would like to start my speech by asking, how many of you listening enjoy eating good food? Though I can't see any of you directly, I'm going to go ahead and assume that the answer for most of you listening is yes. Now, let me ask another. How many of you would still enjoy eating these good foods if you found out that over half of the ingredients added were toxic chemicals? Did you know that in the United States alone, over 60% of foods eaten by Americans on a day-to-day basis are heavily processed? For those that don't know, processed foods include food that have been cooked, canned, frozen, packaged, or changed in nutritional composition with fortifying, preserving, or preparing in different ways. Today, I will speak about what harmful chemicals to look for on the ingredients list of foods you purchase, as well as how these toxic chemicals have harmful effects on our bodies. And by the end of my speech, I hope you all will have a better idea of how to make healthier choices when buying food. First, I would like to give a little background on my personal experience with learning about toxic food chemicals. When I would go grocery shopping, I used to not think twice about looking into the ingredients list of the food I was purchasing, and I thought I had a pretty good understanding of what foods were considered nutritious and what foods were junk foods. I always ate relatively healthy and never thought of looking into the harmful ingredients that were in the foods I was buying. I believed that, hey, if it was in my food, it can't be harmful to me, right? Evidently, I was wrong. It wasn't until I started having painful stomach cramps and experiencing digestive issues that I decided to look deeper into the ingredients list of the foods that I was eating. In doing this, I realized that almost 80% of the additives on the ingredients list of most foods I ate, I did not recognize. In fact, I could not even pronounce all of the ingredients. This is due to the fact that food labels can be complex and hard to understand, and there's just a long ingredients list of unknown chemicals. This sparked an interest in me to look deeper into what exactly these unknown additives were and why no one was concerned with the effects of these mysterious elements. After doing some research, I discovered that some of the ingredients common in our everyday foods that are harmful to our bodies are monosodium glutamate, sodium benzoate, aspartame, BPAs, and high fructose corn syrup. This chemical is found in numerous processed foods such as frozen dinners, salty snacks, and canned soups. As stated in a periodical conducted by Tweed called How to Find Good Food, when consumed in large amounts, monosodium glutamate can cause harmful neurological effects and impair growth and development in children. Isn't it scary to think that an element in your food has the ability to negatively affect your brain and stunt your growth? The next chemical traced in many common foods consumed by people daily is sodium benzoate. Sodium benzoate is a preservative commonly added to acidic foods and carbonated drinks like fruit juices, pickles, and condiments. According to an academic journal conducted by K.S. Schaefer titled Persistent Toxic Chemicals in the U.S. Food Supply, a study showed that combining sodium benzoate with artificial food coloring increased hyperactivity in 3-year-old children. Another study conducted found that a large intake of beverages containing this chemical was associated with more symptoms of ADHD in 475 college students. The next chemical I'm going to talk about is bisphenol A. Also known as BPA, this additive is an endocrine disruptor, which means it can imitate the body's hormones and interfere with the production of, response to, or action of natural hormones. Because this chemical is a hormone mimicker, it is suspected to promote breast and prostate cancer. The Egyptian Academic Journal of Biological Sciences elaborates on this claim by discussing the carcinogenic and cytotoxic effects of these harmful chemicals. Another cancerous element added to many foods is aspartame. Aspartame is the world's most widely used artificial sweetener and is also linked to cardiovascular disease, seizures, and dementia. It is important to be informed about what ingredients to avoid when shopping, so it is also necessary that we as consumers look further into just believing the front of food labels. This is due to the fact that a large portion of manufacturers use misleading tricks to convince consumers to buy processed foods. Some of these terms are all natural, GMO certified, whole grain, and made with real ingredients. Though you may be buying these foods thinking you're making a healthier choice, the reality is that if you were to take a look at the ingredients list, they are full of the toxic preservatives and additives that I have been talking about. It is up to us as consumers to make mindful decisions when shopping for our food, but there are also regulations that can be put in place by the Food and Drug Administration to make grocery shopping safer for everyone. These regulations are described in a newspaper article released by the Food Safety News by 10 ways new FDA head should protect people from toxic chemicals in food. To keep unsafe chemicals out of our food, This means to stop letting industry decide for themselves in secret whether or not chemicals pose a risk, use modern science when evaluating if certain toxins are good for us or not, and prohibit lead from being added to materials that contact food while driving down the levels of heavy metals in specific foods. With all of this newfound information, I hope that at the very least I have encouraged all of you to make mindful, informed decisions when shopping for your food. As Ayurvedic says, when diet is wrong, medicine is of no use. But when diet is correct, medicine is of no need. Thank you for listening.